Good morning, everyone. It's Carol here from aquahaven747.com. In today's video, I'd like to share with you some tips on counter depth fridge organization. Now, there's two main things that you need to keep in mind, regardless of what size of fridge you have. Number one is that things will constantly be changing in there. Now, yes, you may have some of the same condiments all the time, but other things are going to be coming and going, so you need to adjust for that. And the second thing is that you need to place things to optimize not only food safety, but also to minimize any spoilage. So if that is something that interests you, please keep watching and I'll see you at the end. So here we are inside my fridge, and the first thing I want to mention is that the temperature should be under 5 degrees Celsius. Now I have mine set at 37 degrees Fahrenheit because I can't figure out how to switch it over to Celsius. If anybody knows that, please let me know, but I'm not going to worry about that. I have a little thermometer in the fridge here, and it was 4 degrees when I started this, so I try and be really quick with this video. Now they recommend that you have your eggs and dairy in the coldest part of the fridge, which is usually supposedly in the middle section. Now this is a smaller fridge, so it's pretty much consistent throughout. I have moved the thermometer around and tested it out, so I thought it made more sense for me to just have those up there on the top shelf. In the back on this side are some leftover stuff, so ready to eat things at the top. The more leftovers behind there, and I have my cream and milk here because this is the colder part of the fridge. You don't ever want to put this on your door. On this second shelf here, I have a couple of bins labeled with bread in one and leftovers in the other. And you don't need to keep bread in the fridge if you are going through it pretty quickly, but I don't eat a lot of bread, and it is usually just me. So I keep my bread in here to keep it a little bit fresher, and it stays good for, a few weeks anyway in here. I also have a bin with the dairy stuff that I have labeled. And I did want to say about bins and containers. They can help, yes, it groups like items together, but it also will collect crumbs and spills and help keep your fridge cleaner longer. Now on this middle shelf here, I have an old Tupperware container for my celery. It has a grid thing on the bottom, and that helps to keep it nice and fresh for a really long time, like over a month. Celery needs to be in a high humid environment, and it doesn't fit in the crisper. So that's why I have that there. I have a similar type container here for the romaine lettuce for my dog, Misha. I don't eat a lot of lettuce. I've had the odd piece here and there on a sandwich, but I buy this for her, and this lasts a week and a half easily while she goes through three things of lettuce. Normally I also have her chicken hearts on top here in a little container because she likes those cooked up as well. Now on this side of the fridge, I have this container with mushrooms in it. Now mushrooms are best kept in a paper bag, but I don't have a paper bag, so I put these in a container with paper towels. So they need to be in low humidity unless you want them to spoil really quickly and turn into mush. I'm using this container because I took advantage of this great deal on at Walmart, less than half price. So I plan on cutting these up and freezing some. And yes, you can freeze mushrooms, but you need to do it when they're still fairly fresh. Now, as you can see in this container here, in this packaging, it's got some little holes in it, so it does allow a little bit of airflow in there. However, they will still end up going bad more quickly in the plastic. So best to put it in either paper towels or ideally a paper bag. Now, as you can see, I've got a vegetable crisper and a fruit crisper here, and I think most fridges do still have those. Now mine has this little thing on here that you can put it one way or the other. If it's over here, obviously it's closed, and for vegetables. There is a plant hormone called ethylene, and what it does is for those things that are ethylene producers, such as the apples, they tend to make other things ripen faster and spoil faster. So now vegetables, most vegetables need to be in a high humidity environment. That's why this is closed. So we've got some leafy greens. I've got carrots and peppers at the moment. If I had cauliflower or broccoli or something like that, they would go in that side. And right now I just have apples here. You can see that it is vented open because it needs to be in a low humidity area. So best not to keep them together. They have to be separate. The ethylene producing away from the ethylene sensitive ones, unless you want things to spoil more quickly. Now I also wanted to mention about this bin here. I do not keep this in here all the time because it takes up a lot of space, as you can see. And sometimes I will have leftovers in a dish like this and it won't fit. Or sometimes I will be defrosting meat and I need to have that on a plate or in another container, so if it leaks, it catches any spills. You should always defrost a meat sealed or covered up. Also, I wanted to mention in the fruit crisper here, right now I just have apples, but sometimes I will have this little container in there if I have like berries and grapes and other things that I want to keep a little separate, just to keep it a little bit more organized. I feel like you have to keep your bins and containers in the fridge. If it works for you, if it helps you to keep things organized and keep things clean, then great, do it. But if you need the space for something else, then take it out, change it up. It's your fridge, it's got to work for you. In this full width drawer down here, it can be used for so many different things. As you can see here, I've got a few different containers. I've got little takeout condiments and things there, my Parmesan cheese, butter and shortening. If you have big blocks of cheese, you can fit them in here because I've got my pepperettes at the moment. But you could use this for many different things. Now mine came with this little divider. So yours may or may not do that as well. You may or may not need little containers in that, depending on what you're using for. You could use this as a meal prep zone. So if you have a tray with some of the foods that you need to prepare for a meal, you could keep that in there. So that's just a couple ideas for that. Now, as you can see on the doors, I have condiments, and I also have like salad dressing and sauces, and I've got some vinegars there. Depending on how quickly you use stuff, you don't necessarily have to refrigerate vinegar, but I do. I also keep a little bit of baking soda on the bottom part there to help keep things fresh in there. Now, obviously, this is the warmest area. The shelves on the doors are the warmest area, so you want things that are shelf stable, that are not going to spoil quickly, because they get, they're always going to be in the room air, however warm that is, and not keeping as cold as it should be. Final thing I wanted to mention about organizing the fridge part is to label things as you see fit. especially if you have more than one person in the family or one person that's accessing your fridge and you want them to put things away in the proper spot. Or maybe you need a little reminder too. I put all my pickle stuff in one of these bins and condiments in this one. I did not label the one on the bottom, which is the biggest, because sometimes I put beverages in there too. So, you know, you have to figure out what works for you. On the other side here, I have vinegars, and then I have salad dressing and sauces. I didn't label the top one. Clearly all I've got up there is maple syrup. And I didn't label the bottom one either because, yes, I have some more sauce type things there, but I can clearly see what it is. Now, one great idea that I saw from Cass, the Clutterbug, is that you can take this whole thing out and take it to the table if you want. So if anybody wanted any condiments for hamburger, hot dog, whatever, instead of just coming and taking them out individually, you just take the whole thing and then put it all back. Now here is the biggest difference for counter depth fridges. The little freezer. There is not nearly as much space as in a regular fridge freezer. So I ended up having to go and buy another little upright freezer, which I keep in my garage just around the corner. But what I keep in here are ready to eat things. You know, I tend to make more than one thing at a time, and I'll freeze some, so if I don't feel like cooking later on, or if I'm too busy to cook, I can just grab something from here. I don't have to cook something every single day. And in the bottom here, I've got some other things I want to use up more quickly. Cabbage, I've got some shredded cabbage there. I've got some hot dogs and buns and some bagels and things here as well. I also have some little pesto cubes that I can use for cooking. But this is basically what I use for, you know, things I want to eat up faster than the things that are in my deep freeze or in my upright freezer. And as you can see, I really don't have any special containers in here. This divider came with it. But anyway, that is it for that. Well, if you've made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching, and I hope you give me a thumbs up if you like this and found it informative, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you. I will link down below my blog, which has a few more details about organizing in your counter depth fridge. And it also has a link for some free printables for fridge and freezer inventories. So if that is something that interests you, just click on the link below, and I will see you in the next one.